What's it like to rob a bank? Well, first of all, that depends on who's robbing the bank. What are your reasoning, your purposes? A lot of people are desperate. Is your hair sticking out? A lot of people are desperate, and some people do it for the thrill. Some people actually have talents and gifts and goals in life, but they want to test themselves. And then there was people like me, who I was all the above, but I just couldn't see a way out of my present situation. I felt so stuck, you know, in my mid 20s. Um, didn't have a vehicle, going to school. I was going to a community college, and at night, when everybody would leave the night class, everybody would jump in their vehicles in the parking lot, and it seemed like I was the only one who had to go catch the bus home at the transit station. And the transit station was right next to the student parking lot. So when I'm getting off out of school, I just felt like it was just depressing. Feeling like the only one who didn't have a car. Feeling like God was helping everybody else in life but me. You know, so depression played a part in that. And I remember, like the next day, after feeling like that, one of those nights, I got out of class, and instead of going home, it was a daytime class. I decided to go into a bank and slip them a note that alluded to me being armed. I didn't get very far, even though I had a plan. I had a getaway plan. The duck off spot that I was supposed to go to after the bank was robbed, that person wasn't home that day. Usually they're home throughout the daytime, and they would have let me in, and I would have been able to duck off for a few hours until it cooled down around me in the neighborhood. That day they weren't home. It was meant for me to be caught. So I tried to run off into a school, and the janitor comes into the men's restroom. I got a backpack full of money, and the dye pack had exploded inside my backpack, but some of the money was still good. So I left the bathroom out of the school bathroom that I had ran into. Ended up running through some apartments and then ran across the street. And the police saw me. And he saw me with my backpack half blown up and already red from the dye pack. And I got locked up. I didn't resist. I didn't have a weapon. I was a first time felon. They gave me 3 years. I had to go do two. During that 3 years, I was surrounded by a lot of different kinds of hardened criminals. When I got sent to prison, I got sent to a closed custody prison, which is a maximum security type of prison. For less than a year, a little less than a year. And the rest of my time I did at a prison camp and at a work release halfway house. I should have learned my lesson then. I got out, was doing okay for 2 years. Well, it wasn't even 2 years, about 11 months. And I thought I could rob a bank again. So I hit another bank. This time I had a car. And it was a high speed chase. This time I thought I was going to get away. The bank teller had put a tracking device inside the money. And as I was passing a cop on an overpass, I went to get back on the freeway. And the cop bucked a U and started following me. I found out later that the device inside the money alerted the cop to me being the robber because the money was in my possession. And the next time I didn't get 2 or 3 years. I got 10 years. 10 years and 9 months to be exact. I walked off 7 in a couple months. 7 in a few months. And after 12 years total of being in DOC, Department of Corrections, I was finally released. And I have to say I learned my lesson, because I haven't been back to prison since. That was over 10 years ago, last time I got out. So, what is it like to rob a bank? Your heart's beating. You just want to get it done and over with. You want to get the money and get out of there as soon as possible, because they come like that. As soon as you leave the bank, they're on their way. Matter of fact, while you're inside the bank, the button has probably already been pushed and the cops are on their way. You have less than 5 minutes to get in and get out ASAP. And you better hope and pray that no police are in the vicinity on your way out. You don't want to use the car that you drive every day. But more importantly than that, if you're not willing to sit down and give years of your life for that money, you gotta assess to see if it's worth it, because I got something somewhere in the 5 figures, and it wasn't worth the decade that I had to give up my life. It wasn't worth it. Sit back and think it through, because here's one thing. When I got locked up, there was no Uber Eats, there was no Uber, there was no DoorDash. I couldn't just go make quick money. I had to go sign up to a place and try to work a labor job. I had to work my butt off. And then sometimes you get paid on the same day, and sometimes you have to wait. But when I got out this last time in 2015, I started doing Postmates, Uber Eats, delivery, Uber. I've done DoorDash, and that's where you can get money right away. That's what I needed. I needed money right away. I needed a pack of cigarettes. But I also had a lot of pent-up resentment against authority. Let's just say authority. But these days, if you can make money a different way, you just gotta be patient. In 2005, if I was a signed up Uber driver or DoorDash, or if I could go make a quick buck real fast, I probably would have never got locked up for hitting a bank or any kind of robbery, because I was able to get money right away. Back then, I couldn't see my way out. I just didn't want to wait till I got myself in a better position. So I had to learn the hard way. Yeah. Another thing is, these days, it's a lot less solid individuals in prison. Back in the mid 2000s, you still had a lot of solid individuals. At least, I think these days, going to prison for a long bid in 2026, is really out of the question because the kind of people that you're going to have to do time with don't even have the same kind of standards. And, you know what I'm saying? That when I was younger, my era, my generation, we were men. Yeah, there was a few fruitcakes, a few people that was on that gay stuff, but that it wasn't a whole lot. There was a lot of men that was locked up that just made some dumb decisions, you know. So God turned it around for me. I ended up getting my Associate of Arts degree behind bars, which was a blessing. And I joined. I was a teacher's assistant for a college sanitation program. I trained over 1,000 men in industrial sanitation, pressure washing restrooms, and cleaning carpets, janitorial duties, first line of defense for sanitation, which was really important to learn how to clean and sanitize things before the COVID outbreak happened. In fact, I even helped create this manual when I was locked up. The Institutional Sanitation Certification Program Student Manual. I made this. Actually, me and my instructor, we put this together. He made it. He made it, but I physically typed it all up on the computer and printed it out for him. So I just tried to learn, and I was going to church. I was very repentant for what I did, and because I wanted to get back home and make my grandparents and my parents proud. You know, my mom and my stepdad, and I was very remorseful because I realized how stupid of a decision it was. And I'm even more remorseful after the fact because a felony sticks with you and makes your life a lot more difficult. There's one thing I can tell my kids and young people is to never catch a felony. Because once you get that felony on your record, it makes your life 10 times more difficult. So it wasn't worth it. But if anybody asks me, what's it like to rob a bank? It's like not thinking too clearly. You gotta have balls, you gotta have heart, but you really don't have a lot of smarts. You don't have to have a lot of smarts to rob a bank. Successfully, you do have to have some smarts. But really, you have to be able to trust God whenever you have thoughts to do such things. You have to trust God through the hard moments. Your money's funny, your money's not looking right. You gotta trust God instead of go off impulses. Because both times that I robbed the bank, it was impulsive. It was out of extreme frustration with my life. Second time, me and my ex weren't getting along that morning, and I felt like life owed me a lot more than what I was experiencing. Both times I felt like that. But you have to be patient. It came from a young mind. When you're a young man, they say your frontal lobe is not developed until 26 or so. When you're a young man, you don't always think things through. You're not realizing that it's temporary. And sometimes you need to open up your mouth and ask for help. If you're really struggling, open up and ask somebody for help. Even if you just need a few dollars to go get a beer, which that was part of the reason that I robbed the bank too. Open up your mouth. Ask your girl, ask your girlfriend, ask your homeboy. Don't swallow your pride and don't be afraid to ask for money. And try to get through into the next time where you can get to work and get your own paycheck. You know, because as soon as you get a paycheck, you'll feel better about your life, and you won't be as close to robbing a bank. That's my advice from an ex hardhead 2-time bank robber who learned a lot from his mistakes. Some people don't even. Some people get a lot more time. You know, some people go through a lot more drama when they were locked up. I got into one fight when I was down. One fight. Because really, I really just minded my own business and just tried to work my own plan of programming and staying out of trouble and working, going to school, working out, going to church, and trying to get back home to my family. Because that meant the most to me. So think about how it will affect your family, because my family was very affected. I really felt it didn't make my family feel good. So think about that. Think about how it will affect your family before you make a drastic decision of crime. I'm out.